Alguien me dijo una vez que el mundo me controla, pero sé que no soy el mejor. Ella buscaba un tonto con la P en la frente, la letra que indica un perdedor. Bien, el tiempo pasa y nunca se para. Conozco las reglas y me pongo en marcha. No tiene sentido vivir infeliz, inteligente y a la vez más triste. Mucho que hacer, mucho que ver, que hay de malo en tomar otro camino. Nunca lo sabrás si no vas, nunca brillarás sin actuar. Hola, chico estrella, es tu juego, ve. Hola, chica estrella, haz tu acto, cóbrales. El oro brillando está, solo las estrellas rompen el molde. Un lugar cool y se pondrá más frío, solo espera que te hagas más viejo. Los hombres del medio no están de acuerdo al mirar la foto desde lejos. El hielo en el que estamos se hace más fino, el agua se calienta, así que tú puedes nadar. Mi mundo en llamas está. Hey, hola, chico estrella, es tu juego, ve. Hola, chica estrella, haz tu acto, cóbrales. El oro brillando está, solo las estrellas rompen el molde.
Go for the moon. Go for the moon.
Hola, chico estrella, haz tu juego, ve. Hola, chica estrella, haz tu acto, cóbrales. El oro brillando está, solo las estrellas. Alguien pidió dinero para gasolina, me dijo necesito viajar. Dije que yo también necesito un poco de dinero, así que no te voy a dar, así que te puedes largar. Bien, el tiempo pasa y nunca se para. Conozco las reglas y me pongo en marcha. No tiene sentido vivir infeliz, inteligente y a la vez más triste. Mucho que hacer, mucho que ver, que hay de malo en tomar otro camino. Nunca lo sabrás si no vas, nunca brillarás sin actuar. Hola, chico estrella, es tu juego, ve. Hola, chica estrella, haz tu acto, cóbrales. El oro brillando está, solo las estrellas rompen el molde. El oro brillando está, solo las estrellas rompen el molde.
Hello everyone, my name is Notepad and on and I write games for fun. So what are we doing today? No, I am not playing it again. You get it once. You get a single Smash Mouth All-Stars cover as covered by Camo Covers as he does it in Spanish. You get it once. Hello everyone, my name is Notepad and I write games for fun. So what are we doing today? Well, today we're going to be possibly finishing up the entirety of this game. Ooh, excuse me. I thought there was going to be a little bit more, but I was kind of double checking everything, and really there isn't that much to do. It's a lot of things that actually don't need that much work to be done into it. I did a lot of the stuff last night, actually. For what did occur last night, well, if we go down here and actually really scroll up here a little bit, two things is GM got renamed to the Viceroy. I thought that would be probably the most appropriate name for it because I thought that would work pretty well. One big thing that I did do was I added this picture just to kind of show people, like, this is what I mean by when I'm saying pips. Like a 5 die is worth 5 pips, a 3 die is worth 3, 2 is 1. However, if you have 2 times 1 or 2 6s, you get 10. You get a 10. That's for free, effectively. Now, When's playtesting? When playtesting is whenever you guys want to do it. Otherwise known as you play the game and you tell me, because hello, Varric. I saw a little bit of your interview today. I didn't watch it all the way. It was kind of days been kind of weird in that regard, but I did see your interview. Hopefully that went well. Let's see. Yeah, no, the big thing in which I did was mostly things like this. Where was it? Yeah, right here, which is instead of saying for every 5 pips you gain this, no, it's just spend 5 pips at a success. If you spend 10 pips, you're gonna get 2 successes. It was a lot of little stuff like that, just cleaning things up. Not too exciting in that regard. Let's see. The only other big one that I kind of had to like take a second to go through and double check. Went through combat effects. Combat effects work pretty well. I probably need some more, but it's one of those things like I need them to show up for them to be relevant. Momentum. Big idea behind momentum. The big idea behind momentum is, let me just fix this up real fast. Notepad 2, my beloved, you continue to hurt me, but pretty much let's say, oh god, didn't mean to hit that button. Let's say for example you have let's say over your turn you build up 4 momentum. At the start of your next turn you're able to move 4 tiles wherever you want to go. You pretty much have 4 free movement, then you're allowed to take your actions. Kind of the idea of like a golem has momentum. They're moving forward constantly, and you're kind of being able to turn them and things like that. It's a very precise thing. So it's kind of one of those things like you might spend an entire turn dashing, just dead sprinting to build up that momentum to kind of be able to Tokyo drift around your enemies while, you know, unloading on their ass. That's kind of the idea behind that. The only big thing is if it's not spent, you lose it. It's kind of the idea of like you pulling on the brakes. You're not flowing with it, you're moving with it. The only other one I did was Captain Combat. Captain Combat is effectively the same thing. There is only some slight differences. They do have this. This is evasive maneuvers. So let's say, for example, you know, you're in combat, you can roll, and let's say I have a 1 and a 4, actually a 1 and a 3. I can spend those on evasive maneuvers, and then next time someone wants to attack me, instead of having just to spend their basic attack, they're going to have to spend 4 extra just to kind of get, you know, actually hit me. It may not seem a lot, but for like really heavy weapons, that's going to be kind of prohibitive. While for lighter weapons, it's not really going to be as prohibitive, you know, unless you spend quite a bit. But so it's kind of that back and forth where, you know, you're still going to get hit by really fast weapons, but you might be able to avoid some heavier ones. He's parallel golem drifting, Nunny. He's doing it. He's going beyond. So yeah, I'm hoping that works pretty well. Let's see. Yeah, captains have a very basic movement of about 5 tiles. The big thing with captains to remember is you only have you have a very small amount of health. Like most of them are only going to have like 10 to 12 actual health. So taking, you know, getting hit by an attack that does 2d6 damage could also mean you're on your ass, like you're just out of commission because you've been stabbed and you're not doing too hot. Let's see. And they also get something called Splitting Blood. Splitting Blood allows you to spend pretty much your pips on... So let's say, for example, I roll a 2. Let's say I roll a 6. I can spend my 6 pips twice to get 2 health back. But in exchange, you have very little health. So taking like 1 or 2 hits could also mean you're at like 3 HP. So combat is very dangerous, and that's what I kind of wanted it to be. I wanted it to feel very dangerous. They get a little bit different when it comes to grabbing than I did with the mass combat. Mass combat kind of got its own little change. The big thing is that compared to Saga of King Arthur and the Men of Metal, infantry is a lot better. Why? Because technology has advanced quite a bit. Instead of literally just ragtag men that we've slapped together in armor, you have actual trained military forces at this point. Because it's been about a millennia from the saga of Meta-Metal and this. It's one of those things where it's still men and blood. Where the idea is if an infantry is in the same tile as another infantry, they don't roll anything, they just deal damage to each other. Which is a big amount of deal because you're going to be hitting pretty goddamn hard. And the entire point is that you're going to be going consistently down, if that makes sense. Because fighting sucks. Remember that, kids. Fighting sucks. There's no war in history that everyone's like, yay, war. If you kind of notice, the natives units are not as good, but the thing is they also have more. So they're going to be able to kind of bring more to bear. What I should do is bring that even down a little bit. They're going to be able to bring more people to bear against you while you're going to be able to survive it a little bit more. But you also get things like arquebusiers. Arquebusiers, which pretty much say if they are within 4, they can deal damage. They're going to click their rifles and, they'll click their arquebuses, arquebus. They're going to click their guns and people are going to fall over dead. And again, it's morale. Like, you get hit twice. Like, a single burst from these guys is actually going to take out a native auxiliary troop. They only have 8 morale. They're going to run like hell the second you blast them with this. It's mostly like the native warriors and some of the heavier guys are going to be the ones that survive. Cavalry is the same way. Cavalry is very fast, very maneuverable. The only issue is that natives don't actually start with cavalry unless you really want them to, but they will get cavalry, and they're better than yours. They hit a lot better, and they're able to kind of get stuck in a little bit better. This fucking thing is foul. I keep drinking it. Yeah, no, I got beer before this, so I'm like, I'm thirsty and I don't have any coffee left. So I got this, and I saw there's a label. Usually what happens if they fall out of like a case or something, they have to put it on sale. So I saw this label, and it was like 59 cents. I'm like, wow, this looks like a shitty can of like, oh, it's iced tea. It's like hard iced tea or something. Like, okay, I wonder what it is. I get home, take the fucking label off. It's Bud Light Seltzer iced tea. This shit tastes terrible. It's apple flavored, and it sucks. Like, it's like drinking piss, but this is my line. Yeah, it's literally 59 cents, and they put the label over the fact that it's Bud Light. So I'm like, well, I'm disappointed. I wouldn't have even got it if it was Bud Light. I didn't even see it. Let's see. 2d6 plus training, attacking, disabling golems. Golems, yeah, about the same. Golems can flop over. I'm actually going to do 2d. Actually, I'm going to do 3d6 because these are still golems, pretty much with the intent of flying, like pretty much throwing themselves on the ground. Yeah, everything's broken down on the tiles. Spaces are a little bit smaller. Jungle, hills, marsh, mountain, plains, roads, paths, no roads, hovels, rivers, and then I have my very basic map of what a combat encounter might look like. It's kind of the idea, you're kind of moving around these areas. So your infantry might say, oh, well, we want to move up into the village, and we kind of want to defend this village, while you guys want to flank around, or you guys want to kind of put into places that you can fight more efficiently. So it's like, oh, cool. Let's see, what do we need to do now? We need to do equipment. Let's see. What I should say is actually, no, we want to do the hammer and the sword. And which we need to go to the saga of King Arthur and the Men of Metal, otherwise known as, again, if I have this equipment already in place, damn straight I'm going to use it. Damn straight. So, big thing is, what do we really need to... Alcohol-free cider. Not alcohol-free. Yeah, it kind of comes with the territory. Especially when you get a lot of designers. Yeah, I know he's making a joke. And it still hurts me, though. It hurts me that I bought Bud Light fucking alcohol. Ugh. But, yeah, no, it comes with the territory, mostly when you come with, like, a lot of designers and people who make games. People don't want to play other people's games. Though, according to a patron, actually, because for those who don't know, and what you can do to tell your friends all about it, is, if I go, God damn it. And what you can do to tell all your friends about it, I'm on drive-thru. Someone, apparently they knew, got this. They actually found this and downloaded it and looked at it. So here it is. Someone actually might be playing this, and I enjoy that. Ta-da! For some reason, like, I have 3 ratings. I'm like, what do you want? What is it? Like, what do you tell? Like, give me something to work with here. Yeah. He's gonna make it. I do plan on adapting. What was the other one that... I'd be a little bit less formal today. We're a little bit quiet. My only other ideas was I was gonna maybe bring Henshin Hero, a Sentai television show RPG, with all the artwork, mind you. It is essential that I bring the artwork in that in here, all of me and Manly's art. But yeah, kind of bring all of this, bring this one to drive through, kind of like, here's something little silly. And then Pojedenie Kobiet. Yeah, then, yeah, Pojedenie Kobiet. Technically, this should be Pojedenie Kobieta, but Kobieta has different terms to it. So, ta-da. Stigmata might get in there, but I really need to go, like, I need to go into Stigmata and fix this damn thing again. Because it's a mess. It's a messy, messy game. Eno Guild, I don't think deserves to be on there, but Eno Guild's very, very weird. Game Jam games. So let's see. So we want to do ranged weaponry. Luckily, what I should be able to do here is we don't really need armors. We just need all of this. And what we can do is we can paste it all here, because I am a genius, don't worry, I know what I'm doing, don't look at me that way, is... Oh, didn't mean to do that, we need to hit that button, and we're going to change things around. Able to wage war and fight effectively in the heat of the battlefield. Number of tools equal to its size rating. Equal to its size rating with any additional tools, with any additional weapons. Weapons costing double their weight to carry properly. Melee weapons, perhaps the most common, actually equal to... melee weapons... We don't really need to add much of this. What we have to do is we have to go up here. Actually, what am I doing? I don't need to go up there. Right? All I need to do is go all the way down to the bottom. We need to go to buy blade and cross. The spreadsheet. We need to go to spreadsheet 1. Not the basic melee weapons. Okay. So, King Arthur, don't need you anymore. So, axe weapons. Axe medium. I actually even tell what the fuck the damage classes are. No, I don't even talk about the damage classes. God fucking damn it. I'm gonna okay. Let's see. Right now I'm just going to kind of curate a little bit of this. So, battle axe. This should work pretty well. Do I change any of the weights? I do reduce the weights. I do increase the weights a little bit. So we're going to do that. We're going to increase it all by about 2. Not the long axe though. The offhand axe is going to get a little bit heavier. And the pole axe is going to get a little bit heavier. So we have break off, pierce. Pierce 1 long distance. Do damage class. Okay, the mace category. Mace category, luckily, I'm going to be cutting a lot of things because we don't need flails. Flails or ball and chains anymore. We don't really need those. They're cool but unnecessary. Warhammers. So actually, let's see. 1600s weapons. What was some weapons of war? Actually, no. Let's do early modern weapons. So we need to do the let's see, European wars of religion. Yeah, so firearm, decline of plate armor, transition to flintlocks, the nature of warfare. So cannons were a thing. Just got to remember that. So let's see. So it's gunpowder mostly. The gun meta came in. The melee meta is not as impressive anymore. So we don't really need as much there, but the idea is that the golems are able to kind of withstand some of those initial hits, and they're able to make those golems and probably take in a different role of the field. Instead of being raw infantry, they would probably be almost equivalent to cavalry. They'd be cavalry or support. Like their entire goal would be to be like either a giant fuck off meat shield between the enemy's artillery and your guys, as well as kind of probably being cavalry tactics. I.e., charge into their asshole and break it. So we need to do that. Staff categories. Yeah, iron tip staff, great oak staff. We don't need the great oak staff anymore. Because this is also kind of, the big thing is, this is also kind of for for the natives as well. So I'm kind of like trying to get a good idea of like what's needed here. Guardian Thorn doesn't really need to be here anymore. Wouldn't it be a boar spear? It would be a so, well, we can just cut that. We don't need it anymore. Let's see, the dueling spear. We don't need that really. So it'd be halberd, lance, pike. So actually, we got to remember to increase the weight of everything. Yeah, so about 2 across the board. 7, 7. Don't need to increase that. Mace went up to 9. 9, and Warhammer is going to be about 14. Staff. Weight's increasing because the mechs are smaller. Mechs are the actual golems are smaller, so the weight increases. So sword category, bastard swords are pretty common. Fleeces are cool, and I like fleeces, but we're gonna cut. We're probably going to cut fleeces. We're going to keep the saber, keep the great swords, keep the short swords, keep the swords as Zweihanders, and actually let's do Cavalry 1600s. We need to do into early modern warfare. We need to look at cavalry. Cabinet Wars, Battle of Kalishi, the Ottoman Conquests. Carbines and pistols, even Orthodox cavalry carried firearms. A few cavalryans flank, or in the flanks try to work their way behind enemy infantry. They proceed fleeing enemy. Heavy cavalry could still destroy an enemy army, often special like cavalry like the winged hussars. Break pikeman lines, but this was rather an exception. Cavalry charges. Power formerly held by heavy cavalry-focused army was at an end. For the first time in a millennia, the settled people of agricultural regions could defeat horse people of the steppe in open combat. So, yeah. So, short sword, we weren't, okay, short sword, bastard sword, so we wouldn't really need to do that, but what we can do is weapons of the Aztecs. I'm sitting, dart gun, shovel head, spear, bow and arrow, axe. Yeah, obsidian edge club, dart gun, spear thrower, shield, axe. Yeah, not exactly the so this would probably, would that be a class as a sword or a mace? Gonna put it in as a sword. Because I really don't know. Do that. We're gonna make that archivo. Gonna do that. Gonna make it archivo. I mean, 12. Let's actually do increase that. Great sword increases by 2. Saber, short sword, sword. Zweihander receives the same amount, but you're going to be doing medium damage. And you're going to do, if you're fighting this, what do you have? Let's see, we want to do piercing probably. We'll give it piercing. We'll give it piercing, and weight is going to be 7. And we're going to call this, native. Native and piercing. So pretty much only the natives are going to be able to actually... No. We need to cut this because, again, this is just what's going to be here. And we don't know what... Yeah. This is where it gets a little bit confusing because, again, the major factions are not always going to be like the Aztecs or anything. You could decide you want to have like the Inca, the Inca, the Inca, where the Inca are going to have very different, tools and equipment kind of at their disposal versus, that. And this isn't even factoring if you just want to say, like, hey, sorry, sorry, fuck boy, you've landed in, God, welcome to the Comanche lands, bitch. Like on the Sioux lands, bitch. Like you're ready to meet God. So it's like, okay, gotta go. Short sword. Short sword's kind of, we're going to go the way of the dodo at this point. I want to keep the sword. We're going to actually cut, not going to cut the sword, but we're going to, I want to call this the half hand sword at this point. We're going to boost you up to 9. Otherwise known as the big fuck off sword. Lances are going to be pretty powerful. Halberds, pikes, spears. Okay, so what I am actually going to do is we're going to put a side note. Side note, native weapons. The natives, the people of the new world have invented and devised a number of new tools and equipment for the actually have devised new tools and equipment for their own wars. Most of the equipment can be easily converted from here to there with relative ease. With relative ease, a long thin blade designed to cut someone is probably a sword. For those cases who are not covered, assign a damage class, tags, and a weight. Damage class, tags, and a weight, or just wing it, the expedition doesn't know, but finding out may be half the fun. So yeah, it's kind of like you can or you don't need to though. Like if you don't want to, I'm not gonna like force you to do it. Side note: native weapons. To those cases which are not covered, assign damage class, tags, and weight. We don't need this. We don't need this. Do we need ammunition types? No, we don't. Mostly because bows have gone the way of the dodo. Bows have pretty much gone the way of the dodo at this point. Most of them are going to be like very loose. Like they're going to cost 1. Like it's not really going to be. Pretty much these are not going to be weapons that you're going to be bringing along with you. Bows are for a different era. However, the glorious crossbow. Now this. Let's do crossbow repeating, crossbow mechanical, crossbow light. Which does remind me, did I increase the weight at all for these? Yes, I did. I increased them slightly. Crossbows got up to 10. Increased it by 3. The arbalist is going to keep its size because it's fucking heavy. Mechanical crossbows are going to jog up. Repeating crossbows are going to increase as well. And we're going to select all of you. We're going to put you down here. Actually, what we can do is we can do this, and then we can do this. Crossbows, and then this is going to be gunpowder. Damage class tags, range, weight. Which we're going to have to deal with this. And we to deal with the hand cannon. And we're going to now have to deal with some more fun things, which we're just going to call, let's see, we want to do artillery. We want to do here. What are the longest? Let's see. Smashes smooth doors, weapons distinguished by a field cartridge. Who's that? Wars. What would be? Wouldn't be a 12-pounder. What would be the? Artillery pieces of the 1500s. We'll do artillery pieces of the gunpowder artillery. What were we dealing with? Roger Bacon, the man who invented guns. Culverin. Oh, how big were you? Ah, perfect. 5.5. So this would be a actually 18-pounder. Let's see, field guns of trying to think of like what would be the proper name for these. I guess we would just call it like a the demi-culverin. Perfect. Golem Culverin, it's going to be super heavy. It's going to have ammunition. It's going to have reload. It's going to have reload 5. It's going to be very expensive. It's going to actually, we're going to have reload 8. It's going to be very expensive and very awkward to reload. It's going to have two-handed, gory. It's going to have break off. Because if I remember correctly, break off is going to allow you to apparently not be included with this thing. All right, we're going to have to think about that. We're going to have to fix that. It's going to have break off. Instead of pierce, it's literally like if you get hit by this thing, like you're gonna just become fucking paste. That's kind of the ambient. That's kind of the problem with it. Like you're just gonna get pasted. Range is going to be. Why do I have these as range here? Like 45. Is this like tiles? Did I mark these as tiles or did I mark these as? I guess actually we're gonna have to. Let's think. If I were a tile, tiles are roughly about 10 meters. You're gonna shoot. Arquebusiers are gonna be able to do about 4. You're gonna have to do about. We'll do about. Okay. We'll do you about 8, 6, 4, because you're not very long range, but it doesn't really need to be that long range. You're going to be 6 as well. Which, God, I forgot we're going to need to put pip cost for all of these. Okay, great bows. Great bows are going to be 12. Actually, great bows are going to be 15. They can pretty much hit you from all distances. Long bows are going to be 12. Recurves are going to be 5. They're going to be 13. Actually, let me just double check there. Welcome to weapons, otherwise known as Notepad loses his fucking mind with tables. There's always tables. So we're going to do 15 here, 15 here. We're going to make that 12 here. We'll make that 10. Actually, we'll make that 8. Siege bows are going to be 17. Very long distance crossbows. If we follow this same logic, so it's going to be 12, 12, 15, 8, 8, 8. You're going to be about 6. Actually, what am I doing? Because I already wrote these down. Come on, Notepad, what are you doing? 8, 4, 6 isn't. You're gonna be able to long shot this thing not too far. You miss with the Golem Culverin, you're gonna miss. Yeah, this should work. Explosive lance. Yeah, no, that's pretty much the exact same. Nothing really changed there. Nothing really fucking changes. So we're gonna go here, Archivo 12. We're gonna select. Oh Jesus Christmas Christ! Okay, we're gonna select everything there. Nope. Everything is breaking. Everything is breaking. when I said this was going to be a fun and exciting stream, I hope you all knew this was just going to, what I meant was, this is literally just going to be me fixing everything. Yeah. Now we got some actual beer. Okay. Now we get to do insert column to the right, 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 insert column to the right. Insert column to the right. Oof, God, this is gonna be fucking rough. Okay, so we are going to casually ignore all that. So, let me guess, I didn't put the pip cost in here. Of course I didn't, so I gotta go all the way back up. And we gotta find gifts from the motherland. We're going to select everything here. Control C, Control V. Don't need any of this. All we need is these. So pip costs. Axe 3. Let me ask you a question here real fast. We're going to go all the way back down. So, pip cost. Pip cost. So, axe 3. We have any other axes in here? That we do not. So, battle axe is going to be worth 6. Crowbill is going to be worth 4. Executioner axe is two-handed and a little bit heavy. It's going to be that. Long axe is long distance melee. It's pretty heavy. We're going to say it's going to be 8. Offhand axe is going to be 3. Pole axe is going to be 6. How much is the club? Club is 2. 2. 1. Is it 1? Yes. Gauntlet is 1. Juggernaut Maul. Juggernaut Maul is going to be worth 7. The mace is going. What is the mace? The mace is worth 3. That means the warhammer is going to be worth 6. Peep-poo, peep-poo, peep-pa, peep-pa. We need to do. I didn't even add this. Great staff is 3. Iron tip staff is going to be 2, and staff is just going to be 2. Pretty standard stuff, and that brings us to the spear category. Ooh, spears. Ooh, spear category. That means nothing. I didn't actually add any spears. Actually, I had a pike, right? Yeah, 5. Pike is 5. Lance is going to be 4. Actually, lance is going to be 5. Halberd is going to be 6, and spear is going to be 4. Pretty reliable across the board. Actually, spear can probably be a little bit cheaper. Make spear cheap 3, and sabers are going to be 2, 2, 3. So we'll make you 5, and half sword is going to be 4, and great swords are going to be 5. Actually, we're going to make you 5 and make you 6. Which brings us here. So we need to do a little bit. Oh God, we need to. Table properties, columns. What happens if we make you 0.8? Can we make you 0.75? Can we make you 0.65? Yes, so nothing changes. So next we have to do pip cost. what do we bring for bows? We didn't have any bows, right? Correct. We had no bows. Bows are going to be fairly cheap. Short bows is only going to be worth 2. Siege bows are going to be worth 6. Recurves are going to be 4, 4, 5. Actually, we'll do this. Actually, you are 0.65. We're going to select. Oh, God, everything is breaking. Oh, my God, why? No, we do this, we do this, we do this, we do this, we do this. We select both of you. We select you at 0.65. We hit that button. And then you are... Can we make you 1? I'm going to make you 1. What are you? 0.7. Can we make you 0.75? Make you 0.75. Those are about the same. Close enough. We're not going to question it. Crossbows. We're going to say light crossbow was 3. Normal crossbow was 4. Hand cannon was 4. Arquebus was 6. Actually, let's delete the repeating crossbow. I don't think we need it. And then the arbalist is big, so we're going to make that 7. Crossbow heavy and crossbow mechanical. Going to be 3. We don't need complicated because complicated isn't a tag. What am I doing? Concealable. Why do we need concealable? It's a fucking weapon. It is on a golem. It is not concealable. Actually, let's... Good. Okay, so we got all that. Gunpowder weapons, pip cost. $8, so it's going to be very expensive. But that's fine, because if it's very expensive, that means people aren't going to spam it as much. Because if people do not spam it, that means people can't abuse it as easily. Bottom, middle, center. We are going to have to make you 1. We put you as 0.65. Put you as... Okay, why do you suddenly... Okay, no, you are going to be 1 as well, I believe. Grenade is going to be 3 as long as you have a grenade. The explosive lance is going to be a 5. Very cheap, but is also a fucking explosive lance, where the entire goal is to charge and explode. It is not what we like to call an elegant weapon. It is, in fact, a fucking suicide gun. That's the point. It's for very big, stupid maneuvers that you can't do. More accurately, that you don't want to do. A center. Select all the axes, because axes are probably one of the most diverse weapons in the world. And then we do this. Let's see. Let's see, each weapon has a Each weapon has a pip cost, a damage class, class tags, and weight. The weapon's pip cost. Required to be spent when attacking with the weapon. Unique effects. Effects finally. Weight is how heavy the weapon is. How heavy the weapon is. Not exactly the most complicated thing in the world, but it's literally just important to have. Thrown weaponry, we're going to do a... Actually, no, we're going to put that there. We're going to put that... We're going to cut this on the other weaponry, and we're going to put in the javelin. 2 damage class is going to be medium. Medium, and it is going to be thrown, and it's going to have a range of 4. Range of 4, and javelins are only going to cost 1. Javelins are going to be very cheap to carry around, as they are literally just going to be giant hunks of wood with a fucking stick with something sharp at the end and desire to embed into your enemies. Okay, so complicated. We don't need complicated anymore. Explosives. Cool. Flail. We don't need flail. Joust is important. Long... actually... Be used against targets in an adjacent tile to the captain. Alright, so natural. The weapon is a natural part of the user. Piercing, cleaves through armor, reduces physical resistance by the value, but we don't have physical resistance anymore, Notepad, so we don't need to think about it very much. Wow, wowzers. 2 deals double damage to infantry forces. Joust, let's see, may move. The character may move and attack with the weapon at the same time, may continue movement if there's any left. Actually, we should say is. Add their momentum to the damage check. Adds their momentum. Their momentum to the damage. Must spend if any over pips are spent, the weapon breaks. So kind of that thing, if like, it's usually like, hey, this is 5. If it's 5, you have to spend equal to 5. If you spend any more, you put a little bit too much power into it, and the thing fucking explodes into fucking shrapnel. And you're like, well, that's not very fair. Well, cleaves through armor. It reduces all. Actually, no. Weapon cleaves through armor. The weapon deals plus the weapon deals an additional d6 in damage to golems. Piercing weapons are very good against golems. Pinpoint on a critical success. Pinpoint, what we're going to do is the captain. The captain may spend an additional 10 pips to 10 pips. Actually, we'll do 10 pips to disable a part of the enemy golem. Actually, no, what we want to do is the captain. The weapon is always considered to be aimed. So you pretty much can always select where it's going to hit. So, reload. Number of reloads. What we're going to do is reload X. The number of pips. Pips required to fully reload the weapon. Fully reload the weapon. Let's see. That reminds me, I'm gonna need dual wield the character. A captain may spend the same pips from a die to make an attack with their offhand with this weapon. So you could do, for example, if you have a sword and a saber in one, if you have a sword in one hand, saber in the other, saber costs 2, sword costs 3. You can spend, you roll a, trying to roll a decent, you roll 10. Technically what you can do is you can spend both of those and make 2 attacks together instead of having to spend your dice on, I'm going to spend a 6 on this and a 4 on this. You're just kind of spending it on one thing at a time. Usually it's for like big rolls, and it's pretty useful if you score pips of glory. Glory pips, I should say. Oh goodness. Thank you very much, Terra Vale. Thank you very much for subscribing. Your dedication dressing up your notepad guy is noted. Yeah, no, I try to make him unique every time. Money. Can I do be that way? Yeah, I try to make him unique every time. Break off. The weapon, actually this should say, a captain may spend an additional, we're also going to say 10 pips. Captain may spend an additional 10 pips to break the limb off of the break a limb off the rival golem. You've pretty much smacked a limb off the other, the opponent. Let's see who has break off. So maces, let's even cut it from maces. Maces don't have it. Juggernaut mauls got it. Why do you have it? Actually, let's do, I guess it makes something what was the logic behind this? Notepad, what was your genius for break off? What does break off mean? You mean break? Yeah, I guess it means I guess it wouldn't be shearing it off. I guess it would be literally breaking the damn thing. It'd be getting hit in your shoulder and then having the golems that's made out of wood or something literally shatter. It's just broken. So, yeah, you gotta spend a lot of fucking pips to do it. Actually, we'll bump that up to 12 pips, I think. Okay, so which ones are still here? Explosive. Do I have explosive? Right here. Reload. Pierce 2. But Pierce just does additional damage, so we don't need this. We don't need any damage after it. Hand cannon. Do I put hand cannon as 3? Golem Culvern's very expensive to reload. The Arquebuse is 4. Okay, so reload 3. Reload 4, that's about right. Reload 4. Reload, we'll do reload 2 for you. Reload 3, that works. And bows don't really need a reload. That's kind of the idea. Because it's just spring, dan, 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 dan. What we can do, here's what we're going to do. If you want something really janky, what we're going to do is we're going to do stun. And then we're going to do stun space 2. We're just going to place all, and then we're going to do stun 3, which we're going to just replace it with stun. Do we have like stun 4? Do we actually have a stun 1, stun 2, stun 3, stun 4? No, we do not, so we don't have to worry about it. What I like to hear. I like it when we don't have to worry about things. So we're going to select everything here, change everything over to Archivo font. Are shields going to be even valuable at this time? No, shields aren't going to be valuable. They don't really make any sense during this era because we have guns. This reminds me of that Centauri-chan fucking comic being like, why don't we have European martial schools anymore? Kicks down door. New meta! Let's see, weapons Cleason armor deals additional d6 damage. Okay, so we're gonna have all that. Then we're gonna put this. Put it after. Let's put it after, which we're gonna put. We're gonna put here. We're gonna put the damage class. Damage class. Mm-hmm. Let's see, the weapon's damage class determines how much damage an individual weapon does when they hit. Individual weapon does when they successfully hit a target. When the captain will roll a number of d6s equal to the weapon class, equal to the weapon damage class, and inflict that much damage. If the golem is targeting, actually I should say, if the golem is targeting a infantry unit, actually a ground unit, I should say, a ground unit, then all damage is doubled. All damage is doubled due to the sheer size of the weapon. And then what we can do is be like, oh wow, do all of that, and then we go here, and we put you right here, right here. Which is going to be light, medium, heavy, super heavy. Damage amount 1d6, 2d6, 3d6, 4d6. Not exactly the most complicated goddamn thing in the world, but it really doesn't need to be. Because you're going to be taking a good deal of damage. Because everything is guaranteed hits, and I need to base everything off of d6s, simply due to the fact of how the game is functioning. Then we can slap an image right there, make it nice and pretty, and everyone claps because everyone likes nice and pretty things. So, okie dokie then. Let's double check to make sure that this looks correct up here. So, melee weapons, range weapons, damage class, 51, example features. Yeah, that took a little bit longer than I was planning. We slap an image right there. Slap an image right there. And then we move on to... Gold, glory, and faith. Armor clad in faith. Oh, goodness. Okay. So what we get to do now is this is effectively the advancement system, which is a little bit wonky, but I'm borrowing a little bit from Urban Jungle because I liked Urban Jungle's advancement system. So, the character. Next thing we want to do. Expedition is the expedition is one built from purpose, often in the form of gold, glory, or faith. Expedition is built on what? Built on all of these in one way or another. Which govern, let's see, is built in all of these, but there's a primary one which governs the expedition's desires most. As the expedition travels closer toward their goal, they will encounter a series of challenges, problems, and other issues which will bring question to their faith, skill, and determination. Faith, skill, and determination. So, we kind of define right away, like everything is kind of built from these three things. Either you're here for gold, glory, or faith. That's it's a guiding principle of the expedition. You're always kind of traveling toward a goal of some sort, which I'm actually going to write in here. So gold, the most basic of the goals. Gold and wealth is the primary driver for the Barcengozan expansion to the west. While the Uru control trade to the east, the eastern kingdoms, original explorers were tasked with finding a passage to those kingdoms. With the discovery of the New World, the first priority was with the discovery of the New World. The first priority was to. How do I want to word this? Expeditions built upon gold are there for money, and the magistrate. What's his full title? And the magistrate the magistrate of Islas Azules, the Blue Islands, expects money, treasure, and anything else which can be sold, and a lot of it. Let's see. So we do that. Glory, the patron of the expedition, has built it to spread their name, or forge one in the history books. While all of the captains are seeking a certain kind of glorious return of glory, certain kind of glory, the expedition being based on it is an entire different story. At its core, comma, and performing great deeds and delivering back results to the magistrate. Let's see, delivering back the results to the magistrate and the patron, whether in the form of new territory, conquered peoples, or discovering heretical, or discovering lost cities. The glory is always fleeting. Often expeditions with such a goal have a primary driver, have a primary goal already in mind. Often these involve the lost cities of gold, hordes of orichalcum, or some mythical lost expedition from years prior. Pretty much the goal is we need to find something here, which is going to change, and that's kind of like one of the things where there's a little bit of a GM section where it's like kind of explore what it's about, and kind of also giving you the idea of like, hello, there's a canine. Yeah, Windows has a bad tendency of doing that. They get a little bit miffed when you have legally procured games on your system. It's helping. Delicious alcoholic beverages. Oh. Apparently Gundam's got a new game coming out. Oh, nice. Well, hot diggin' damn. kind of weird, not gonna lie, that they're gonna make a free-to-play shooter. Like, but alright, I'm down. I'm down with free-to-play Gundam shooters. I like Gundam. Gundam is fun. Let's see. Gold, Glory, and Faith is our last one. Faith. Perhaps the one close. What happened to the soul of the expedition? Expedition more than anything. Faith is about conversion. Conversion, bringing God to the new world and saving these heathen souls from themselves. Obviously the church, the Holy See, approves such actions and has been sanctioned for it, of course. Such expeditions are often accompanied by a roving church service, trying their best to enlighten the natives of their heretical, of their pagan ways. Not everyone takes kindly to this, though. Not everyone takes kindly to conversion, let alone conversion with the threat of violence. Faith expeditions walk a fine line of convincing as well as protecting. As well as protecting the faithful. Because at the end of the day, this is what a lot of these guys did. This is what a lot of people who entered the New World did honestly believe. That we have to go into these places and save them. And kind of when you, like, I'm kind of giving you an idea here, like my goal here. Yeah, Gundam is pretty cool when it does just that. Like, my goal here is kind of pick what your campaign's going to be about, and that's what's really going to describe everything. So if your campaign's mostly about gold, you're going to want to acquire treasure. You're going to build a lot of fucking treasure. And your missions are going to be built around that kind of acquisition, as well as kind of that overarching threat of it. It's, yeah, we're not going to send you any equipment unless you start providing gold, but Glory is going to have a very different thing. It's going to be about an objective. It's going to be like, we need to find the lost cities of gold, or we need to find the mythical philosopher's stone, which can convert metal into a magic material, or adamantine or calcum. We need to find it. Faith is a lot more about people and a lot more about conversion. It's a lot more about trying to convince a hell of a lot of people to worship our God over their gods. And that's kind of a complicated endeavor. And but it's a very important part of it. So all we can do is we'll do the captain's growth from experience. Let's see. So the captains are already competent people entering into the service of the expedition based upon their previous merits or impressive skills. Let's see. Captains are already competent people entering into the service of the expedition based upon their previous merits or impressive skills. A captain improving a captain advancing, a captain is rarely static, however. They will change. They will change over the course of their expedition. Through hardship, successes, failures, and loss. When actually at the end, we should do, and we're going to scroll up all the way over here just to make sure that I have, okay. When a captain, when the expedition completes a zone, and moves on, completes a zone, or completes a major objective, they will gain an opportunity to advance, to reflect on their adventure. Each captain can adjust two attributes, up to 2 points. You can adjust two attributes up to 2 points. 2 points in either direction. Attribute pairs up to 2 points in either direction, reflecting a change in temperament or expectations. In addition, each captain receives a quirk. To represent their newly acquired knowledge. These quirks will always be based off of what has occurred to the captain. What has occurred to the captain, or the skills they have learned, For example, if a captain has been in many small engagements on foot, they may gain the swordsman quirk. But if they have sacrificed time and effort to keeping the native allies safe, they may choose to gain the quirk native friend. Let's see. We want to do skill wise. A captain may come into possession. May learn Hatu language, or actually Tlaxcani language, or Olamau technology, which reflects their innate knowledge and abilities, which reflects their innate knowledge of subjects they have studied or have been taught. So kind of the idea of, like, if you go out of your way and the entire area you guys are in, you're like, I want to learn these guys' language. You kind of talk with people, you kind of are trying to learn their language, you have a translator, you're talking to the translator a lot. Then you can be like, yeah, I know the Tlaxcani language. You may never add Tlaxcani language to any of your rolls, But the fact that you have it means that you're sitting there in a meeting one day and be like, and to everyone else be like, yeah, they're speaking nonsense. And then you be like, hey, GM, I have the language. I know the language. Be like, oh, okay. They're saying that they want to fucking kill you in your sleep. Like, that's what they plan on. That's what they're saying. They're like, wait a second. Hold on. Hold the train there. Hold up. Actually, a captain may learn a second quirk. May learn a second quirk as well if they take a demon. If they take a demon, as they did in Captain Creation. Something has haunted, or something haunts or looms over the captain, bringing misfortune to them. So it's kind of like you complete a zone, you may select like, okay, I can adjust 2 of my attributes. So you can say, I don't want to adjust any of my attributes. I'm happy with how my attributes are. I'm happy the way they look. I'm happy the way they are. I don't really need to change any of them. But you may say, oh, well, I want to get a quirk, and then you can say, oh, well, I want 2 quirks. For example, I want the swordsman quirk as much as I want the Tlaxcani language. So you might take something like, you take the swordsman quirk, and then you take the Tlaxcani language, but you might take a demon is gone native, where some people actually think you're a little bit more in depth with them than you are with them. So you're kind of losing the faith in your own men. That's what I should say. Learn second quirk, well, I'll take a demon. Bringing the sword to them. A captain can forego gaining a quirk. And instead remove a demon. Instead redeem a demon if they wish. So it's kind of the idea of like you can either gain quirks, remove demons, or kind of learn more. It's kind of the idea of like you're learning more about yourself. You're becoming more kind of ingrained in that, and your soldiers are training with you as well. They're kind of learning and growing along with you. Which brings me to here, which is the expedition golems will also improve over time, but instead of growing personally through skill and heart, they will often be replaced, as Theseus's ship was. They will often be gradually upgraded with new parts and weapon and tools. Each new part a captain acquires must be grafted onto the golem, and then sanctified by the priest. Once this occurs, the golem has improved, gaining a new limb or weapon to be employed. which we can go to Saga of King Arthur and the Men of Metal. This is literally just to make sure that, like, Vidwood. So let's see. What's his critical goal? It's approved gaining a new limb or weapon to be employed. Some sample unique parts. Unique parts are listed below as an example of what can be found in the new world. There we go, we do that, and then we go here, and then we paste this. And we're going to select here. And we're going to go to table properties, black on black. We don't really need to do Vidwood. Actually, we will do Vidwood. This stores 1d6. Let's see. Kind of the idea of like, okay, here's some weird wood. We like weird wood, and let's do some of the odder parts. I'll bring in orichalcum because orichalcum is very rare metal. We want to do table properties. There we go. Ow, fuck. Okay, so what would be some other ones? It would be, okay. Ollamount Guiding Stone. Let me just do... Actually, what am I doing? We go all the way down to the bottom. We select, we go here. We go all the way here. And then we see stone, 2040. We do this, and then we go down to this for the limb weight. Ollamount Guiding Stone. And which we're going to increase the size. We're going to increase this just a little bit, just by 5 points. 5 points across the board. However, we're also going to reduce the weight down by 2 points. Just a few smidge of points, making it a little bit easier. And what we're going to do is, we'll do that, and then we're going to Tloxcani Gore. Tloxcani Gore. Which is going to be durability head 20, durability torso 30, durability limb 15. Weight head 0, 0, 0. It doesn't weigh anything because it's gore and it's living and it's completely alive and it does not give a fuck. And it would be like weird wood. Weird wood. Naturally repairs itself, restoring 1d6 durability to the section at the end of every round. And then we're going to go to Olamau Guiding Stone. The guiding stones bring up allow the pilot understand the nature of their golem. They will gain a +1 to all pips on all dice rolled. So, for example, what this would be, to kind of give you an idea of like how value like an Olamau Guiding Stone would be, you would roll. I rolled 2, 2, 3. I would technically have 4, 3, 3. So you're just increasing the value of your dice by just a little bit by virtue of having a Guiding Stone, even just anywhere on your Mac. The golem pulsates with the pilot's heartbeat, the captain's heartbeat. They may exchange lifeblood to restore tender ability at any point. They expend 1 lifeblood to restore tender ability at any point. Tender ability for at any time during the round. So pretty much like you're allowed to just heal yourself pretty actively. That's one of the big things. You're able to heal yourself pretty actively if you have Tlaxcani Gore. The problem is the pilot's going to kill themselves, which is one of the scary things when you're fighting Tlaxcani, because they're built into their mechs, which means they don't have that concern. They will endlessly heal themselves unless you can kill them fast, and they don't have very high health. They just are able to restore it all for free. And they're going to a lot. We're going to go all the way up here. We're going to hit this button. We don't really need that. Company advancement. I already kind of went over company advancement. I am going to go over the enemy section. Just a little bit. It's not going to be a very long section. That's the thing. It's not going to be a very long section. I just need to explain how enemies work. We'll do... Actually, no, we can put it right here. We can do, we'll do enemies most foul. The expedition will not be without hardship. And through their journey. Let's see. The expedition is not without hardship, and through their journey, the expedition will encounter other foes, which will encounter foes attempting to thwart their plans, or stop their holy crusade, with good reason most of the time. All enemy golems are assigned all enemies, I should say, are assigned a combat value, which is the broad indication for their abilities and effects, which is a broad indication for their abilities. When rolling for enemies, they will always roll the amount of dice equal to their combat value. Combat value for combat. While again, the captain is never you're not gonna really do opposed checks per se in, say, like actual like little things, but in like actual like combat, yeah, you're gonna be rolling. There's gonna be rolling, but I want to keep it pretty simple. Like they're just gonna have a combat value. They will always roll the amount of dice equal to their combat value. The enemy may spend their pips on any assortment of actions they wish, comma, disregarding the limitations of the attribute pairs. That's literally it. They are able to use anything they want by virtue just because they're enemies. And we're gonna go here. We're gonna go here. We're gonna go here. Which we're going to do enemy threat. Oh, let's see. What would do? It would be a threat rating. Which will do weak, average, strong, notorious, terrifying. We'll do terrifying, monstrous, hellish, and which is going to be about 2d6, which is going to be about, so enemy threat and combat value, which is going to be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, a truly horrendous foe is going to be rolling about 8 dice. But again, they get this consistently every round. You don't. However, the catch being is that you are a player. You have the advantage of being a player with all of the things of, like, you know, having skills and not having to manage a dozen things, and the GM kind of wanting to pull punches because you're the players. The goal is for you to have fun. That's kind of the big thing. Which I should say is, so we'll put a side note. Mundane. The world is filled with oddities. The golems themselves make the opposition, make the world magical and strange. However, the game, my blade and cross does not indicate the presence of, quote, mythical enemies, mythical monsters, or anything of the sort. The golems are natural phenomena. The golems are natural phenomenon according to everyone in the world. However, the golems are natural phenomenon according to everyone in the world. However, dragons, basilisk, and other monsters are still fairy tales, if you want them to be. When bringing in monstrous enemies, understand when bringing in mystical elements, remember that it's still considered strange and scary to most. Strange and scary things tend to end up on a pyre, tend to end up on a cross, which is on fire. Actually, on a bundle of wood, which is on fire. So it's kind of the idea, like, you can bring in mystical elements if you want. If you want to bring in like like overtly magical things, you can. But everybody in this world does view golems as perfectly natural. These are natural things. Hello, Jakey the Trash Can. How are you? Let's see. You're unfortunately running in on me when I'm a little bit tired, trying to make sure everything works properly. Let's see, do we have everything? Somewhat. What I need to do is do this particular section right here. I'm gonna do this on my own. I'm just gonna do this in my off time for one very particular reason, because it's really boring. I'm not gonna lie to you all. Me writing like GM theory is not fun. It's not fun for me. It's not fun for you. It's mostly going to be like, this is how it's going to work. This is kind of like the idea behind it. It's a lot of developer side notes, which if you really want to go over this, it's something that I can explain a lot easier. At the core of it, it's this game is a lot more about exploration. You go around to a place, you explore a place, you try to understand it. Once you understand, once you learn about it, you kind of advance to the next zone. So the goal of it is mostly you have as kind of like a meta thing to kind of encourage them to go in one direction. I'm not going to say you have to do this. I'm saying that you're kind of being pushed in that direction. Hence why I have that last bit is colonialism is bad, but fun. Colonialism is a bad thing. We all know this. This is not a new exciting thing. Colonialism is bad. However, it is fun to pretend to be conquisto mechs kicking down the front door and start opening fire on people who are piloting giant blood golems because they sacrifice everybody's life to summon their ancient death god. That's cool. That's fun, and that's kind of the idea. Like, embrace the fun aspects, not as much as like the ruthless exploitation of people for profit, because that's kind of its own bag of worms that nobody wants to go over. But with that, I believe we're done with Blade and Cross. By Blade and Cross, I should say. Oh, sweet baby Jesus. Sweet baby Jesus, Mary and Joseph. This one was a bitch. I'm going to tell you why it was a bitch. One of the main issues I was kind of having with this game was kind of it was ironically kind of the same issues I was having with a Saga of King Arthur, kind of the previous project of this one, where everything worked, everything was there. The golems felt weird though. Like, that's kind of like one of the big things. Like, the golems kind of felt weird, and I kind of put things together, and like my goal here was to try to make them feel perhaps a little bit more I wouldn't say grounded, but a little bit more built into the setting. And here's the thing. I think the game, I think the actual systems of the game work. I think they work pretty well. I think it's going to require a little bit of buy-in, which is a little bit more than you can ask, but I might just bully my one friend into helping me with that one day, just bully him this weekend or something. I think that at its core, it's going to work pretty well. I think it'll work. I think the major issue with it, though, is going to boil down to it's a bitch to do. It's one of those games that I I was actually discussing with somebody today. My friend Manley. We were having a conversation, and like one of the issue with some games does boil down to, you know, it's like, here's the, like, for rule 1, have a really good group. Rule 2, leave the rest of the rules, because like you need like a significant amount of buy-in, and if you have the right people and you have the right players and you have the right expectations, the game's going to work great. And I can't control that. I cannot control how players are gonna act. I can't control how people are gonna role play. I can't really do that. I can provide you all of the tools, all of the options to make it work, but really it's like, here's this, maybe do your job, hopefully, and hopefully don't explode in my face. And I think that was kind of a big thing here. Did I succeed at like kind of deconstructing Lumen in a way? To a degree. I think it kind of it evolved past it, kind of like my man, I really don't like Lumen. It kind of evolved past it. And what I would need to do, what I think I need to do more than anything, is I need to have like just a weekend or something. Just like one weekend of me sitting down, going through it all, and just shaving off little bits, just little bits, just little itty bitty bits, just to make sure that all the parts work. Because I think it's good. I think it'll work. I think my only problem is that it's a little bit flighty right now. It relies a lot on faith and maybe if the systems, maybe everything will work fine. If you have, you know, if the stars line, maybe this will work if the players do this. So that's going to work in some cases. That's not going to work on others. That's kind of I think one of the major issues with games like these, where it's a lot of, do you believe in your own group? And I think like I think my other big issue with this game is that I did rely a lot on King Arthur. So I got King Arthur in the meta metal, just because I'm like, I'm going to use this, so I kind of want to keep the same systems in place. So I kind of want to keep the same ideas in place, which is one of the big reasons why this next batch of games, I deliberately kind of went out of my way to say, I want to make them very thematic. I want to make them overly thematic, to the point where it's a little bit over the top. It's a little bit wonky that I'm gonna compromise some gameplay elements in exchange to make them feel more thematic to the games in question. Which some people, I think it's gonna be a little bit weird for some of them, but I think it'll be pretty good. Currently, though, the games in lead are pretty standard ones. Nothing too exciting has really popped up. Has really made the rounds. And I blame Lux Democracy for that. But yeah, no, I think that'll be it for today. My nose is all plugged up too. But let me think. Tomorrow is going to be a little bit weird. Video might not be up on Friday. I might get it done on Friday. Oh God. That might be a Saturday video. I'm not going to lie. This Friday will probably be Metal Saviors. It might be 2 days of Metal Saviors just because I need to work on that game a little bit more. And we're currently in the voting process. So that's kind of what happens there. So thank you all for watching. My name is Notepad Anon. Hope you all had a wonderful rest of your day. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me on my Discord or PM me anywhere. Or don't. I don't know. I'm not your mom. Yeah, I'm good. I'm not that good. So, thank you. I am, as they say, away. Where's the damn button? No. Yeah.